our conversation with Tucker Carlson, which was pretty bloody great, and you'll love. And we do need to create a movement, because let's face it, whether it's Canada with weird assisted suicide laws, or Australia with their pandemic internment camps, or now Ireland proposing hate speech laws that will turn just controversial language or rudeness into hate speech and therefore make it a criminal offence with very vague definitions around what constitutes hate speech. It seems to me that globalism is becoming yet more potent, yet more priapic, yet more certain in their ideological right to control your thought, the information you have access to, the things you can freely say, the type of relationships you might have, the sort of information that you can consume online. All of this is under threat, and it's pretty bloody serious, and it's being presented as if it's sort of no big deal, and we've done some polling and it's all going to be okay. You should see this dude prevaricating on the point of polling. We polled some people on hate speech, and what did you discover? They don't like hate speech, so you can implement that? No. What's the point in holding the poll then? Well, democracy, innit? But you're ignoring the democracy. No. You are, though. Look at this. This is the kind of double speak that we're seeing more and more of as the world slides into an Orwellian hellscape.
Taoiseach, your government conducted a public consultation regarding hate speech laws where citizens were asked to give their thoughts on the issue, and out of the thousands of responses from private individuals, over 70% were not supportive of such laws.
All these leaders that look kind of nice and seem kind of nice, and you can tell they'll be really reasonable and like, oh, hello, no, you're most welcome. Then you listen to them, they're passing mad, weird laws. They feel someone that's like this. We are going to do what is this? You can, mate, Jesus Christ! Just everyone's being so reasonable, they're getting away with sometimes literal murder and always nearly tyranny.
And yet you're proceeding with them anyway. So my question is, why did your government bother to do a public consultation if you were just going to ignore the results?
Reasonable question. Why do a public consultation if you're going to ignore the results? Let's see the answer to that reasonable question.
Well, we do public consultations because we think they're good practice. It's a way to find out what people's thoughts are
and then ignore it
on issues, and it's also a way to flesh out and highlight some of the issues we may not have considered
and then ignore them.
But we're also wise to the fact that the vast majority of people don't make submissions to public consultations. We have to bear that in mind.
So it's only a small number of people, so we can ignore it.
It's only a small portion of the population that participate in these things, so it's not necessarily reflective of public opinion. And also we're wise to the fact that very often submissions are organised, and campaign groups will organise responses, so we're clear with that too.
Even the bloke in the background, whose job it is to agree, like, he's laden with doubt. It's like, that doesn't make sense. Hold on a minute. Like, we're literally in real time watching someone who works for the system go, wait a minute. Wait a minute, is that red pill in my mouth right now?
But why hold the consultation if the end result is just going to be disregarded on the basis that it's not representative of public opinion? What's the point of it then?
Well, the point is that we're a democracy, and in Ireland we have elections.
What's the point? Oh, I'm glad that you've asked me that, because the point is we're a democracy, and that's why we do elections and ask people's opinions. But then you ignore their opinions. Yeah, we don't have to do everything. Well, listen, fuck off.
And decisions are made by the government and the elected parliament. They're not made on foot of public consultations or opinion polls.
Look at him in the background and going, hold on a minute, that poll was a complete waste of time. He's realising. What I'd like to hear, instead of the leader there, is the inner monologue of that bloke who's listening as he slowly works out that the entire system is totally corrupt, and what's being legitimised is the introduction of laws that people don't want. This is not about the people. But if you just pull that one thread, right, you know people don't want this law, that's right, people don't want it, but you're doing it anyway. Yeah, why is that? Because it's not about the people. Why is that? Because it's about control. Why is that? Because the only way we're going to be able to abate and subjugate a population is by having the legal means to do it, because people are waking up to the fact that governments, legacy media, and all of our institutions are unreliable and corrupt. So we're in a race against time to control the flow of information and be able to arrest people for dissent. But, there's a nice scene of nature in the background, so it's not all bad. Yeah, but it's synthesised nature. I can't have everything.
That's not what they're about. They're about testing the temperature.
So is it just for show then?
No.
Is it just for show then? Because what you've just said is it's kind of a show. It's also not that. It's all of the things that I said it wasn't, and also that other thing, which is the thing it would have to be if it wasn't those things. It's none of that. It's Zen. If you try and think about this for long enough, you will become enlightened, because it just doesn't make sense. Anyway, now it's clear that this is something that the public want, or don't want, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's democratic. Here is an Irish politician explaining what new power they're taking, even though you don't want them to have it.
The government is addressing the extremist content online.
Yeah, that's it, because, there is a lot of extremist content online, and it's actually getting on my nerves now.
Like hate speech and incitement to violence and...
What? There's Houthis And extremist content online. Don't worry about a war against Russia that can't be won. Don't worry about censorship everywhere we go. It's Houthis now and extremist content online. Oh, it's driving me nuts.
Comisiúnaman is Ireland's new online safety and media regulator.
Don't worry about the migration crisis and what the Irish people appear to feel about that, whether you agree with them or not. It's not your country, it's their country. They're allowed to run their country however they want, having been oppressed for hundreds of years by a near neighbour. Don't worry about any of those problems. It's extremist content online and those bloody Houthis.
And will also be joint regulator along with the European Commission for the EU Digital Services Act.
Wow, so it's actually aligning with another bureaucracy for which you're probably taxed but not represented. And when that happens, sensible countries have a revolution.
My department has ongoing engagement with An Comisiún, and I, having met them 2 weeks ago, met with An Comisiún again yesterday.
I mean, that is globalism, isn't it? Like, they've decided that they're doing it, you lot don't want it, we're doing it. That's globalism in capsule. We've asked you, do you want it? No, thanks. Well, the EU want it. Well, but so we're doing it. Oh, democracy? No. And why are we at war with Russia? Well, to protect Ukrainian democracy. But they don't allow elections, and there's no opposing parties, and there's a lot of dissent within Ukraine, and they're starting to shut down state media. Stop doing so much hate speech.
And they informed me that they had engaged immediately with the large platforms and with the Gardaí and the European Commission, and that the platforms had activated their instant response plan.